no more customers would buy from Jews. Now, just before the Anschluss, just before that happened, there was going to be an election. Somebody by the name of Kurt Schuschnigg was running to be, wanted to be elected or re-elected the chancellor, which is the person that would be like the mayor or the governor, whatever. And they didn't, there was no way of campaigning like we do here with the radio. So they painted all kinds of election slogans on the sidewalk with paint. Mm-hmm. So when Hitler didn't want those slogans on the sidewalk, so what did he do? Very soon the Nazis called out all the Jewish men, including my father, to get on their hands and knees and made them with a toothbrush and some very strong chemical. I forgot what the chemical is called. Lye, L-Y-E. Mm-hmm. It's a very strong chemical. If you put your hand in it, it eats up your skin. Mm-hmm. He called out all the Jewish men to
scrub it off,
to scrub the paint off the sidewalk, and they made them get on their hands and knees, and they used the strong chemicals. And all the while they were standing around in a circle, laughing and jeering and saying bad things about the Jews. Now, some of these people used to be our nice neighbors and friends.
Yeah.
After the scrubbing, many of the men were arrested by the Gestapo, that's the police, the German police, and taken away. Many never returned. One of the officers told them to let my father go because he used to be a customer in the store and he liked my father. Our neighbors stopped talking to us. And I was going to tell you something that I really forgot. All the while my father was scrubbing the sidewalk, as I said, the building was, we lived on the second floor and we could see my father scrubbing. Yeah. And my mother didn't know what to do with us. I was 10, my sister was like my brother was 14 and my sister was 16. So she had us recite, from Hebrew school, Tehillim. You know what Tehillim is? The Psalms. You know what the Psalms is from the Bible? The Psalms when people pray.
Yeah.
She didn't know what else to do with us. She had us reciting the Psalms and
prayer
and praying. Maybe it'll help. But, but it kept us, from crying, actually. The next day, I went to school, and the teacher and children that I used to love all started to say terrible things about Sonia, the other Jewish girl, and me, and about all Jews. Now, the day after that, all the Jewish students had to go to another room where there was a very nasty teacher, because my teacher, we had it for 4 years, she loved us, who didn't even know us, and she was saying terrible things about us and about Jews. Now, one day I went home from school, I was 10 years old then, and went to my father's store where I always went after school. I saw an SS man at the door looking for my family. My family probably knew that there was trouble, so they had gone up to the apartment, but I didn't know that. But I saw this guy with the black uniform and the black boots I guess he didn't see me. So I quickly turned around and I ran around the corner, because I said it was the building around the corner, and I ran upstairs breathlessly and, was crying. Soon after that, the Jewish children were not even allowed to go to public school anymore, and they set up special schools for the Jewish kids to go to. From then on, I didn't go to school because my parents felt that if the Nazis knew where all the children, they would be all in one place, they would be an easy target to just blow up the place. So I didn't go to school anymore after that. In the meantime, our apartment was looted. They took everything we owned, all of our belongings taken away, and also all of our money. My father and uncle, maybe we had to... Also, our bank accounts were looted. I think it should be on there someplace, too. Now, let me just see. Oh, in the meantime, let me just tell you, because I'm jumping around here.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about
it. This is from the American consulate, I think. I'm not sure. I can't see it that well. Anyway, I don't know what that is.
This one?
Maybe we got like... All right, but I just wanted to tell you that about how we came to America, and that we were lucky. My family was lucky with all these things that happened, and it has affected. Your question was how it's affected my life. it has affected my life and my children's life and even my grandchildren, because they know about what happened, and it is something that, well, at first, you know, as a child, when you come to America, I wanted to forget everything, and I didn't even want to speak German anymore, and I didn't.
You wanted to become American?
I wanted to become American. I just wanted to have nothing to do with it and never talk about it. And it wasn't only me as a child, but everybody knows who knows people who are survivors, that for many, many, many years, they didn't talk about the Holocaust. Those who had far more worse experiences, like my husband, who was in concentration camp for 4 years, and after the war was in a DP, displaced person camp. They wouldn't talk about it, because if they had talked about it and kept the memories in the forefront, they could not have existed. They couldn't have gone on with their lives to meet people, to get married, to have children, to have jobs. They just couldn't have, because it was so horrible. So many of the survivors, I mean, I don't even call myself a survivor, because I came in 1938. The war didn't end until 1945. There's a better word now that I just learned recently from somebody who's a psychologist and who also is in my category. And I have an article she wrote. She refers to people like me, not survivors, but uprooted, which is a better term for us, because we think of the people who were survivors, the people who were in concentration camps, who were tortured, who were starved. Those are the real survivors. Mm-hmm. Who are we? You know, we're lucky we came here, we were able to start new lives and so on. But nonetheless, it has affected all of us.
Because it could have been.
It has affected. Easily. But the fact that people didn't talk about it all these years, and the people just recently, fairly recently, including my husband, as I said, was in concentration camps, he would never talk to us about the war.
It's so horrible.
And as a matter of fact, the first time my children heard about the Holocaust from my husband was we were going to Washington, D.C. I don't know how old they were, but they were already of school age. Mm-hmm. We were going to Washington, D.C. My husband had just gotten a new car with you know, in those days people didn't have air-conditioned cars that much, but it was just coming to be the stuff. My husband bought a new car with an air conditioner, and we were driving to Washington, D.C., and it was very, very, very hot. And the kids, including me, said, "Daddy, turn on the air conditioner in the car." And all of a sudden we passed like on the railroad tracks, and there were a railroad car was riding by. And you know the history of railroad cars and what they... you know, the significance of... So, without even thinking, he's driving, you know, he says, "Do you think those people who were riding in those cars, you know, to go to their deaths, do you think they had air conditioning, you know?" And he talked like for 3 hours till we got to Washington. And when we got to Washington, D.C., he collapsed in the bed, and he was like out from my train. But that's the first my children ever heard. He never talked about it. And so, but the reason now you hear more about it, because the survivors are all older.
And they're ready.
Like me, and they know that they're going to be gone soon. There'll be nobody to tell the story. So in recent times, they've become more open to tell their story. They've made testimonies with the Steven Spielberg. Did you see that movie? Forgot what it was called.
Schindler's List?
Schindler's List.
Yeah, I just saw it recently.
Yeah.